Well, what is up, bros? Me, Josh here. In today's video, we are going over the Astoria. Now, the Astoria is just a placeholder name. This is the New Orleans changing to Tier 7 in the upcoming USN Cruiser split, as there's a picture here, right here. We've seen all the changes that are going to happen, and this is still currently work in progress. We got to see the ship a little bit early, got to play it, and I'm liking the New Orleans at the Tier 7 Astoria, whatever you want to call it right now. Again, it's going to be the New Orleans. It's just changing up. But for the ship itself, it's basically the same ship. There's a couple major differences, though. Minor differences, major, whatever you want to really call it. But honestly, you're going to have the same guns. You're going to have the big 203s, but they're going to have a second longer reload than the New Orleans. We're just going to compare it to that. New Orleans is 12 seconds. This is going to be 13. So a little bit slower reload. You have a little bit less health at 35k compared to the New Orleans at 35,400, so pretty minimal there. One of the major things, though, is you are going to be less armored. This is the New Orleans, so you have that 25 millimeter plating. With the Astoria, you only have the 16 millimeter plating, so you're going to take more damage from HE, more from AP. You're not really going to be able to bow tank much at all, and you're really going to get hit by HE a little bit more. I think I was playing against a double Cleveland that were kind of charging me, and they were really chunking me down a decent amount, but your 203s of the US and cruisers just absolutely just destroyed them. HE and AP hit very, very, very hard. Almost everything else is going to be the same. Detectability by sea is going to be 10.6 compared to the New Orleans 9.1, but that's mainly because it's a tier 8 ship, so it unlocks that next slot. And you don't get the concealment perk, or you don't get the concealment upgrade. Another thing that the ship has that the New Orleans has that the Astoria doesn't at Tier 7 is it doesn't have radar. So what you basically are getting is a New Orleans at Tier 7 with a little less armor, no radar. Your detectability is going to be a little bit higher, which is kind of fine for the tier, and you're going to shoot a little bit slower. But like AA is identical, a lot of maneuverability is identical, so if you've played the New Orleans, you are going to like this ship, I guess. And then, of course, like the Pensacola's going to 6, Baltimore's going to 8, Cleveland's going up to 8. So that's kind of the whole change. But this at 8 is actually a pretty damn good ship, and I'm really, or this at 7 is actually a pretty good ship. I'm actually really, really liking it. I liked it a lot. We didn't get any massive games in the first few games we played it, but we ended up having a pretty good one here. So let's dive into some game footage, and I'll kind of explain how this thing is going to play at Tier 7 with the now Tier 7 matchmaking. So here we are in game with the Astoria, the New Orleans, whatever you want to really call it, and we are actually playing in a division with the Indianapolis, which is the basically Tier 7 counterpart to this in the upcoming change. So that's kind of nice, and one has the radar, one doesn't. So we were kind of seeing what it would kind of compete with. But this game, it really kind of shows how strong the AP can still be on these ships. I don't think a lot of people realize how strong the AP can be on these. The USN AP is so good, and really, I kind of started to play this as if I was a normal New Orleans, and it's going to take a little while to get used to and what you mean by that. And I was a little bummed that Mahan didn't go in, because we did have a radar ship with us, but I kind of played this as because I'm so used to the New Orleans having a radar and being able to support that cap. I was really bummed he didn't go in there because they would have spotted, but I kind of always forget that little gap is off to the side right here. There's another entrance to this cap, so it ends up working out. But what you're going to do, of course, is any USN Cruiser, I put up a couple videos on it, kind of how to play them. It's all about positioning, so you want to kind of get close to certain areas and really use island cover, and we use island cover like a boss in this game, and this ship just absolutely just dunks on a whole bunch of ships, and really was really successful with this ship. I'm really liking at Tier 7. The New Orleans at Tier 8, you know, you tended to get, I mean, everyone knows the bane of matchmaking, right? No matter what, everybody's always bottom tier. It seems like everyone always remembers bottom tier. But really, I think Tier 7 matchmaking is some of the best in the game, honestly. Tier 8 is very painful. It seems like Tier 8 is one of the tiers. I think Tier 8 and Tier 6 are some of the tiers that you really do feel like. One thing too, I think Captain. I'll go back after this game and kind of show you my Captain loadout. It's pretty basic for USN cruisers, but I think Expert Loader will be really good for these big caliber shells because I switch calibers or switch ammo type all the time in this ship. So back and forth, because if something's going to give you any kind of broadside, you're going to absolutely smash it. But back to matchmaking, I think Tier 7 is some of the best matchmaking. It's extremely good. And of course the Maki does that to Duca. Yes, the Duca is a good ship apparently to some people. But anyways, this Tier 7 is going to do, I think, very well for this ship. Against what you're going against at Tier 7, you have Atlantas, which tend to be kind of unsuitable, it seems like, with battleships. You know, cruisers are going to go, cruiser versus cruiser are going to absolutely dunk that ship. You're going against stuff like the Miyoko, stuff like, you know, the York, all these other kinds of ships that could really just get punished by this ship in this playstyle. And I think it's a really good. Maps tend to be smaller this tier. Yeah, you can get up tier to tier 9, but the majority of time at tier 7, you're playing these smaller to mid-sized maps, which is going to make this ship excel very well, and really kind of have the potential of being very successful, and I think it really will. So with this, you tend not to be an open water ship, but this Atlanta, they were a double Atlanta Nuremberg, so I imagine they would just kind of roll out in the middle, so I just started preparing for that, not shooting, holding. I could have shot that Bismarck, but I wanted to punish this Atlanta that was coming through with the AP. And again, it seems like it's a little hot and cold on dispersion. I think it was just random, but there were certain salvos that it was lasers like the New Orleans tends to have, very good dispersion, and then other times like right there is really good dispersion. I think overall though it had great dispersion in my opinion. The ship, the 203 is just absolutely annihilate, and I really think is overall is just I don't know. I think these are very underrated ships. I think these are very good ships for what they are, and really I do think they're underrated. I think people just remember that they have gotten citadeled in cruisers, but you can get citadeled basically in every cruiser. But for these ships, I think a lot of people play them incorrectly, which is why I think a lot of people don't like them. So, but anyways, shells going in, and there's a nice little. I mean, the AP's crazy on these. I love it. And the HEs, I think, very underrated as well. A very high fire chance. I think it's like 18% or something like that. 16%. I think maybe it's 18 with Demo Expert. It's really high, and the alpha damage is very good because of what the because of the caliber and stuff like that. So 13-second reload though, I think is fine. And again, we're just going to kind of angle away, not give this guy a broadside because we only have that small plating right there, and any kind of damage, we're basically going to get full penned. Yeah, I think no matter what, I think you'll get like almost full penned, unless it's an overpen by a battleship. So you will get a little bit punished there, but again, we're just shutting off the line of sight. We're getting behind islands and we're using them. We're keeping an idea of that Atago right here. If you guys are paying attention, there's an Atago that torped our Bismarck, so he's most likely going to be pushing around this way, so we're going to kind of set up this way and get behind this island, use him, hopefully burn down this Bismarck, and just kind of push towards that side, because we are kind of winning this side. We've lost 2, but they've lost 4 so far, and their other Bismarck's getting absolutely wrecked, so we're doing pretty fine actually health-wise. But I mean, already these things have the ability of almost hitting that. I think in my 5 games, I think I got 2 devastating strikes on cruisers with this ship. If you line up, and because you have such a relatively low, especially for this tier 7, at just over a 10-kilometer detection range, you have the ability of almost sneaking up on a lot of ships. Now you don't have radar to sneak up on destroyers, but you do have the ability to sneak up on cruisers and really get that advantage and just absolutely blast them off the planet. It's crazy how much damage you can do with this AP. But again, we're trying to support this Dunkirk, getting some more fires before he goes off, and apparently I was locked on that. But there's the Atago. That's the thing I was looking for, and we're gonna try to push towards that, but what we are going into, if I turn hard right, is I'm going basically into 3 battleships, which is not what I want, because battleships tend to kill cruisers, and especially USN cruisers, if they have a broadside on them. So, and I can't really use you know, too much stuff, because I mean, with only 18 kilometers or whatever, I got pretty lucky right there. I thought I was gonna take a bit more. I didn't even think he could get a shot on me. But one thing that's nice is there is a Leon who's been shooting HE the entire time. The Bismarck, who's actually pretty low, that's over there. And I believe it's the Normandy that was chilling over there as well. So the Normandy's shooting AP, the Leon shooting HE, so I don't have to worry about too much of the Leon. And just trying to get some distance on those guys. Maybe try throwing some shots on those, and just try to help those guys out. But I have the Alabama right here, so I figured I'd push in a little bit and try to use these like 3 little islands, right? We have this guy in the middle, which will probably end up being a problem, but if these guys push around, I was thinking I could use these islands to kind of just break lines of sight, work them down a little bit, using these small cutout angles to shoot without being spotted, not just burn them down. That's exactly what I do, but we have a massive problem with that Normandy on our left side. So Gonna try to help this Alabama out with this Atago, maybe get a couple citadels and help him get out. So, I mean, the Atago was angled away and we still got a citadel right there. So, nice 7k salvo. And really kind of liking this. I mean, we got this is pretty, I think, standard matchmaking for 7s. A couple 6s, a few 8s, and a bunch of 7s. Again, I think 7s and 9s may have some of the best here matchmaking in the game, other than like I guess like 4s or whatever, because they're so much, they're locked in. I mean, look at that. We had that double fire on that Bismarck. He's super low. So again, just shake our little booty, trying to take as little damage as possible, and working towards these battleships without hopefully giving up too much broadside. We have the Normandy there, but we kept an eye on his guns, and he's not on me, so that's really good. And if we can dodge the Leon's HE before he sets me on like triple fire and gets rewarded for battleship shooting HE, that'd be good. We've lost some ships in the process though, which is a bit of a downside, and this is the guy that's going to be my problem, is this Normandy, and he's full life, which is not good. So I think the North Carolina just killed the Atago. Yeah, he just finished off the Atago, so that's good. So this is where I kind of get in a situation where I'm just going to start bow tanking this guy. I could start burning him down, but I'm just going to work the AP and start hitting the upper armor belt. But I'm going to use this island off to my right to hopefully block line of sight, and they will just start working around. See, I can use this big island right here and hopefully just maybe hold them off for a little bit, make them focus on me. Maybe my North Carolina can kill the Bismarck, or the Alabama behind me, and really just kind of do that. So we're going to throttle jockey the ever-living hell out of this guy, and if you don't know what that means, it's basically, if you've ever played tanks, that's what it's nicknamed, throttle jockeying. It's going back and forth. So his dispersion is going to be pretty mediocre, because it is a Normandy, especially if he ripple fires like that. So what we are going to do is basically just go back and forth, try to mess up the range on him, so hopefully he'll overshoot and undershoot, and basically, if you've ever played tanks, like a tank rock. But now I'm just trying to get around this corner so he doesn't even have line of sight in general, and we broke it. He's on fire, so he'll burn for a little bit. I'm not trying to trade away all my life. I'm trying to hopefully be as effective as possible. But right here is where USN cruisers excel, and this thing is going to do very good. As you can see, I was talking to chat right there, so I'm going to try to use this. That was kind of funny. I didn't know I did that. Using this little cutout right here, basically, to launch over, because they won't be able to see me because the detection on how these ships work. Even if my ass is sticking out a little bit and they could potentially see that, it's the detection of how ships work. So even if we don't get all 3 of our turrets, it's not big of a deal, because I'm just trying to get maybe 1 or 2 turrets on this guy and just burn him down. So we'll just kind of chill here, use this island. As he moves up, we'll slowly move forward and be able to continue having line of sight. So this is where this line will excel. This is where this line has always excelled, and this is where this ship will excel at these tiers. I mean, because look at that dispersion. It's so good. It's so good. So I'm really liking the ship. One thing I think they'll end up changing, again, it is work in progress, as you guys can see, but I think they'll end up changing the AA. I think potentially the AA is going to be a little too strong for tier 7. It's the tier 8 AA at tier 7. It's extremely good. USN line is known for their AA ships, but I think it might be a little too high. You're not quite Atlanta powerful, but you are definitely powerful when it comes to AA. So we'll see. I could see them being a change there. You know, they've made the reload slower, or hopefully going to push up. Again, he's a Leon shooting HE, so he's just annoying. He's not really that dangerous. Although a full Leon set, I mean, if he would have been shooting AP here, I'd be worried, but since he's shooting HE, I'm not worried at all. But there goes the Hydro from the Bismarck, and so we got to worry about a little bit. But a nice little sticky fire on him, because he repaired 1 fire, and we'll just keep working forward, and I'll just use the island. So not much he can do, and again, I'll pop I think it's, oh yeah, I thought he hit me a little bit. Again, we're going to get a little greedy here, because he's not shooting AP. We'll get a little greedy, try to get a little bit more fire on this guy, because he did repair that. Again, right there. See us, we're using that a little bit. So what we're going to do right now is, this is the ring around the rosy I was talking about with these guys. And I got a little freaked out because this Bismarck was going faster than I thought, and I was going slower than I thought. But what we're going to do is switch the view right there, and pow, right there. Nice little AP salvo, nice little 4,500. And I'm surprised he didn't shoot right there. I don't know if he was waiting to shoot in the perfect middle or what, but I don't want to go too far out because I don't want to go in front of the other guys. But again, just trying to slowly chunk them out. I don't want that Normandy to shoot me broadside. And again, I have no idea what this guy's waiting for. I would have just shot if it was me. And upper armor belt, 203s in the face, you're going down all day, every day. So a Leon sitting there waiting. I mean, upper armor belt, you're going to pen that all day with 203s. So, nice little worker there. We took 0 damage from that, and we just got to deal with an annoying HE Byron Leon. I would have been much worried if the Normandy was there, because he would have just AP'd our face. And we're just going to foul tank this a little bit and kind of do the same thing. I'm going to try to back up if I can around this island and get away from this guy. Our team has slowly died, which kind of stinks, but we just came back with that Fubuki getting the kill in North Carolina. And as this guy moves in, as you see, I'm always seeing. That's why I think Expert Loader will be a pretty good talent on this. As you can see, I just switched again right there. So I think I let this one burn out. I'm trying to think. But all in all, I think the ship is pretty good at tier 7. I'm liking it at tier 7. I'm liking a lot of the changes. It's basically a better Pensacola, so it's going to be something, you know, is it going to be the best ship at tier 7, best cruiser? Probably not. But is it going to be a lot more fun than, let's say, the Pensacola? If you've ever played the Pensacola, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Is it a bad ship? No. But is it anyone's favorite? No. Is it particularly strong? No. But I think this will be a great ship. And again, boom, 4,400 to the face right there. And we're just still doing USN Cruiser things. So there's our 3rd kill right there. No big deal. I don't want to go too ham on this Leon. The thing I was thinking about doing right here, which didn't end up happening too quick, was I wanted this Leon to shoot, and then I was going to pull out to my left here and just kind of get some distance on him. But I'm waiting for him to shoot, so I'm switching up my... maybe I do have expert loader on this. I think that's, yeah, I think I had expert loader, and that's why I was liking this so much. So there you go. Mystery solved right there. I did have expert loader. As you can see, I had like a 6-second reload on the switch. So here we go. We're gonna kind of get out. Even though I only had 16k life, I figured I could just still drag it out and just slowly burn him down. I actually should have stayed right here on that angle. I even thought about that when I was moving out, but I was like, screw it. He's not shooting AP, so it's just gonna be, it's gonna hurt, but it's not gonna be painful. I mean, any battleship that's shooting HE is really just gonna be annoying more than anything. He's showing broadside to like to my other cruiser, another 203 cruiser. So sticky fire right there. It's gonna stick for a while, and I doubt he'll get 2 full salvos. And I messed up right here. I insta repaired that like a newbie doobie, and so I got extremely lucky. He didn't wait like a half a second, and of course it's battleship HE, so he got super rewarded on all those penetration rolls. So he did like 10k and a fire. Makes sense. Wargaming, please nerf battleship HE. But anyways, he's gonna go down. Dunked, not really. I mean, we took 10k, he took 20k. We'll take that all day long. And really, the end of this game is basically boring. The last Sims just runs away the entire time, so we won't do too much. But let's roll back to the port, and I'll show you guys what I actually run for my captain, and really just do a quick little brief on this ship as well. So here we are back in port, and this is what I run for my captain on my Astoria, aka New Orleans. So there is that expert loader. I think it's really, really good. It cuts that reload in half, so you go from 13 seconds to 6.5. If something is magically giving you that broadside, I think that's extremely good for this upcoming line for the higher calibers. It's not needed at first, but if you do have an extra point laying around, let's say after your 14 points or whatever of AFT and concealment expert, which I would definitely grab first. I would have that be your first. This would be my first 14. I'd have priority target. Adrenaline rush for this, potentially extra marksmanship if you need it. I haven't seen it really needed. Adrenaline rush is just great to have. It's awesome. I do like Superintendent, but it's not as good for this ship specifically. It's just better as a ship in all. As you can see, this is my Des Moines captain, so it's good for the radar. If you are making a captain just for this ship, it's not really needed because it just gives you an extra AA, an extra fighter plane. So you could get away with that. You'll have 4 of those charges, 4 and 5 respectively, those charges if you don't run this. So you could easily pick up something else, go and pick up Jack of all trades, or I don't know, extra marksmanship there and that. I'd probably pick up Demo for my first 3-pointer. Concealment first, of course, and then 14, I would pick up an AFT. And then honestly, after that, extra marksmanship or expert loader is really, really good. This is really, really good. splitting that down to half, you could that's the make or break of potentially a dev strike or potentially just good penetration damage. So this is what I run for my captain though. This is my Des Moines captain, and I think this will be really good in general, and of course fully upgraded. And upgrades is just AFT range, which is nice. It gets you out to, or the AA range, which gets you out to 6 point. You're getting 58 damage at 6 kilometers. 95 at 5.1, 100 at 3. So you're chunking down some planes. Again, though, all in all, this is still work in progress, guys, so keep that in mind. Things are subject to change. I think maybe they'll tweak the A a little bit, but all in all, I like this ship. I think it's got a nice home at Tier 7, and I enjoyed playing it in Tier 7s and Tier 7 games. Again, some of my favorite matchmaking. So New Orleans, already I thought it was a good ship, but I think it has a much better home at Tier 7. I think it'd really be a good, fun ship at Tier 7. So this is it, guys, the Astoria, aka the New Orleans, after the split. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it gives you a cool little insight on what this ship is doing at Tier 7. So anyways, guys, that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.